Welcome to a comparison between the Ableton Live 8 Series Warp Engine and Cakewalk Sonar 8.5 AudioSnap 2.0. These are things for stretching and mangling audio. Now I think I can say that the AudioSnap 2.0 leaves a little something to be desired. There's one thing in particular that I'm going to show you that I don't like. I think Ableton Live does this particular thing a little better. And I feel I can say this because I really don't think this is going to be too difficult for the Sonar engineers to fix. I don't think it'll be a stretch for them. So here's some Indian classical music that I've extracted from its context and looped up. Now, if you know anything about Ableton Live, you'll see that the warping engine is turned on, looping is enabled, and but you're still. I haven't actually done anything to this clip other than extract it and loop it. I've set the project tempo to match what Ableton Live thinks the tempo of the clip is, so you're hearing the unadulterated sample. Okay, so there's a nice clip of Indian classical music. Now, suppose I'm a radical guy and I want to take some of these beats or hits and stretch them way out. This kind of thing, there's always going to be some degradation in the quality of the audio, but I'm not doing this with the expectation that it's going to be pristine. The reason I do this, well, I won't go into it, but I can accept a fair amount of degradation while I'm auditioning this stuff and working with it and generating ideas and so forth, without finding it too distracting. So let me just demonstrate now. I'm going to put a warp marker here. Now I can stretch this warp marker. Let's hear it. And now I'm going to stretch it. I'm going to stretch it a whole lot. There, almost a full beat. Now it's going to degrade a little bit. You know, if you listen really close, oh yeah, it's grinding and there's a bit of degradation. But I still, for my purposes, it's still fine. If I stretch it way far, let's take it out. Let's take it out to here. Now this, no software in the world, I think, can do this yet and keep the sound perfect and pristine and just like it was slowed down in nature without any distortion. Listen. Okay, but my God, what did I do? I stretched it 3/4 of a bar. Of course it's going to be degraded. However, I can still kind of work with this, even at that extreme level, for what I do with this software. Now, fine, let's go back to the beginning where it's unchanged, basically. And let's do a little bit less dramatic stretching. Okay, so here's a beat. Let's bring this one in a little bit to put it right on the beat. And let's bring this one in to put it also right on the beat. Now, we shouldn't hear any distortion. Yeah, it sounds fine. Now, here's one that should go on 4, but let's take it out an 8th note. Now, we might hear a bit of stretching between here and here, or a bit of distortion. Oh, a tiny bit of glitches, but I think it's fine. And if we were to speed this whole thing up globally, it would heal any distortion you're hearing. So one more time, we'll hear it. Sure, the beats are all funny, but there's no distortion. So I could turn on the metronome and start to, you know, pack this thing into some other kind of beat structure, which is cool and easy to do. And for me, at least, as I've said, I can accept quite a bit of distortion before it distracts me away from pushing and pulling this thing into what I wanting it to do, and still imagining it to be musical. So now here we are in the mighty Sonar 8.5.3 producer, featuring the lovely and talented AudioSnap 2.0. Now I have the same clip more or less, so let's. Okay, remember, unstretched, unadulterated in any way. Enable AudioSnap. It sticks in some transients. Now I'm going to try and disable all these transients. Oops. Trying to select them all here. Disable. Now I wanna do it myself. So okay, here's a transient. Now let's disable the disable in order to re-enable. So I'm going to pull this one out. I'm going to stretch this by no more than a quarter note. About that much. Right? Now remember when we did this in Ableton Live, only about a quarter note, there was a little bit of distortion, and I said I could work with it. You shouldn't get too distracted by, you know, what I claim are my purposes and so forth. I just want you to look at the difference between the way that they handle a similar task. You hear all that distortion? Undo. Redo. And that's only a quarter note stretch. Let's take another one. How about this one? We'll do a slightly bigger stretch, half a bar. Now, this would have produced some audible distortion in Ableton Live, but listen how much there is here. Brr, brr. You know, it sounds like ass. I can't really work with this. It distracts the artistic me. Now, to be perfectly fair, the Sonar manual is perfectly clear about what's going on here. One should expect this amount of distortion because the fact is, like in Ableton Live, there are a number of different algorithms, or algorithms if you're from Wisconsin, available for this kind of thing. And they range from low quality to very high quality. Or perhaps they're just for different purposes. The difference is that the high quality ones that will not give you that stuttering sound, you know, that will give you a more Ableton Live-like clear sound, are not available in online mode. You can't use it when you can't use these high quality algorithms when you're just auditioning these things. In order to get the high quality algorithms, you have to bounce or mix down the track. And so here it is in offline mode. These high quality algorithms are called radius mix, blah, blah, blah. So the low quality ones are called groove clip and percussion. And the one we've just been hearing is groove clip, and that's supposed to be the one that's, you know, suitable for this kind of music. The one that's for percussion, for beat, for you know, percussion music is even worse. Shit, hang on. Right? That's the percussion one. So I think I've made my point. This on-the-fly beat stretching, warping, whatever you want to call it, is not as good in Sonar as it is in Ableton Live. And I think the Sonar guys can fix this pretty easy. So there's my point. So pass it on to the Sonar guys.